In this video, we're revealing some of the most valuable and unbelievably rare US coins that could still be hiding in everyday circulation. So before you spend your next coin, watch carefully. Because the coin in your pocket might be worth far more than just a few cents. Imagine reaching into a jar of old pennies sitting quietly on a kitchen shelf, the kind of jar many families in America have forgotten about. Now imagine discovering that one small copper coin inside that jar could quietly be worth a life-changing amount of money. It sounds unbelievable, but stories like this have happened before. And today we are talking about one coin that has captured the attention of collectors and auction houses across the country, the 1968 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A simple coin. A common year. Yet in certain rare era forms, this penny has stunned the coin market with astonishing value, but here is the real question. What if that coin is already in your home? What if it has been sitting unnoticed in a coin jar, an old wallet, or a drawer for decades? For many Americans between the ages of 30 and 65, the idea of discovering hidden treasure inside everyday pocket change is both thrilling and deeply personal. Coins pass through our hands every single day. Most of us never give them a second thought. But collectors know something powerful. Sometimes the smallest details create the biggest fortunes. The year 1968 marked an important moment in United States coin history. It was the first year that the San Francisco Mint resumed placing mint marks on circulating coins after several years of omission. That small letter S under the date on a Lincoln penny might look insignificant, but for collectors it represents an entire chapter of minting history. And when errors occur on coins from this year, the results can become legendary. Now here is where things become exciting. Some 1968 Lincoln pennies were struck with unusual minting mistakes. These mistakes were not intentional. They happened during the intense production process inside the mint. Yet these small accidents created coins that collectors now hunt for with incredible passion. Have you ever wondered why collectors pay thousands or even more for certain pennies? Why would anyone spend serious money on a coin that originally bought almost nothing? The answer lies in rarity and story. A coin with an error tells a story about the moment it was created. It becomes a piece of history that should not exist, but somehow does. Some examples of the 1968 South Lincoln Center have appeared with dramatic minting anomalies. These include doubled lettering, unusual die impressions, or striking irregularities that make the design appear slightly different from normal coins. When collectors identify these rare versions, demand can rise quickly. Auctions become competitive. Prices climb, and suddenly, a coin that once lived quietly in a jar can become the center of a bidding war. Think about that for a moment. How many pennies have passed through your hands over the years? Hundreds? Thousands? Maybe tens of thousands. But how many did you truly examine? Here is a funny thought. Most people bend down to pick up a dollar bill on the street, but they walk right past a penny without even looking. Imagine the irony if that overlooked penny turned out to be the rare one. This is where curiosity becomes powerful. What if your pocket change holds something extraordinary? What if the next time you open an old coin jar, you discover a 1968 penny with a rare striking error? Could that small moment change your financial future? Collectors across the United States constantly ask important questions. How do you sell old rare coins? How does someone actually turn a coin discovery into real money? Can a person truly go from pocket change to thousands, or even more? The truth is yes, it happens. But knowledge is the key. When collectors discover a potentially valuable coin, the first step is careful evaluation. Magnification tools help reveal subtle details. Mint marks, lettering, and surface characteristics tell the story of the coin. The difference between a normal penny and a valuable error can sometimes be extremely small, yet incredibly important, and here is something many beginners don't realize. Condition matters tremendously. A coin that has been preserved carefully for decades can command dramatically higher prices than a worn example. Now imagine this scenario. You discover a 1968 Lincoln penny that appears unusual. Maybe the lettering looks doubled. Maybe the strike seems slightly off. Suddenly you begin to wonder, could this be one of the rare examples collectors talk about? Your heart starts beating faster. Excitement grows. But another question quickly follows, where do you sell rare coins in the United States? Many collectors choose professional coin dealers, reputable coin shops, or major auction houses. These venues connect sellers with serious buyers who understand the market. Auctions in particular can generate intense competition when a rare coin appears. Picture an auction room filled with collectors. Bidders watching closely. The auctioneer lifting a small copper penny and describing its rarity. Hands begin to rise. Bids increase. The energy builds, all for a coin that once lived quietly inside someone's pocket. Now let me ask you something directly. Have you ever searched your pocket change carefully? Have you ever checked the mint marks on the pennies in your house? Have you looked through the coins your parents or grandparents saved years ago? Many Americans inherit jars of old coins without realizing their potential. Those coins often contain decades of circulation history. And sometimes, hidden among them, is a rare piece collectors have been searching for. That possibility creates excitement, but also urgency, because the truth is simple. Valuable coins do not stay unnoticed forever. The more people learn about them, the harder they become to find. Some collectors spend years searching for specific mint errors. They attend coin shows, study auction catalogs, and examine thousands of coins. Yet occasionally a lucky individual discovers one completely by accident. Imagine that moment. You sit at the kitchen table with a small magnifying glass, examining old pennies one by one. Suddenly you notice something unusual about the date on a 1968 South Lincoln Center. The lettering looks different. The details appear doubled. You pause. Could this be the coin collectors dream about? In that moment curiosity turns into opportunity, but another important question appears. How do you turn that opportunity into real profit? Selling coins successfully often involves patience and smart decision-making. Experienced collectors recommend professional grading services to authenticate rare coins. Once a coin is verified and graded, its credibility in the market increases dramatically. Collectors trust certified coins. Buyers compete for them. Auction houses highlight them, and when demand rises, prices follow. This is why the world of rare coins continues to fascinate so many people. It combines history, discovery, and financial opportunity in a way few hobbies can match. One small coin can carry a story spanning decades. From the minting presses of San Francisco in 1968, to a collector's display case, or even to an auction stage where bidders compete passionately. So the next time you hear the sound of loose change in your pocket, remember this thought. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, the same jar that has been sitting quietly on a kitchen shelf for decades, and discovering that one small copper penny could quietly change your financial future. It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But for some collectors across the United States, this dream has already become reality. Today we are uncovering a fascinating story hidden inside a humble piece of pocket change, the 1960 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin that millions of Americans once spent without thinking twice about, yet certain rare error versions of this coin have become highly sought after treasures in the world of coin collecting. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself something important. When was the last time you really looked closely at the pennies in your pocket, your drawer, or that old coffee tin full of change? Could one of those coins quietly be waiting to surprise you? Because collectors and auction houses know something many people still overlook. Sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest opportunity. The story begins in Denver, Colorado, at the historic United States Mint facility where the 1960 D Lincoln penny was struck. During this time America was entering a new decade filled with optimism, industry, and economic expansion. Billions of pennies were produced to keep the nation's commerce moving. Most of these coins looked identical, ordinary copper cents bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the wheat ears design that Americans had trusted for generations, but in the fast-paced environment of coin production, small imperfections occasionally slipped through the minting process. These tiny mistakes, barely noticeable to the average person, are exactly what ignite excitement among coin collectors today. A misaligned die, a doubled letter, or an unusual strike can transform a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. Now here is where things become truly exciting. Certain 1960 D Lincoln pennies are known for striking mint errors and unusual variations that collectors actively search for. When these rare error coins appear in excellent condition, they can command astonishing prices in auctions and private sales. What once circulated through grocery stores and gas stations decades ago may now attract intense bidding from collectors eager to secure a rare piece of history. Think about that for a moment. 1 penny. A single coin that once bought a piece of candy could now be worth hundreds, thousands, or in exceptional cases far more depending on rarity, condition, and the specific minting error involved. It raises an intriguing question that many viewers ask when they first discover the world of coin collecting. How do you sell old rare coins? How does someone turn ordinary pocket change into serious money? Before we answer that question, let's look closer at what makes the 1960 Lincoln penny so fascinating to collectors. One of the most talked about features is the possibility of double die errors. This happens when the coin's design is stamped slightly twice during the minting process, creating a visible doubling effect on letters or numbers. For collectors, this is like discovering a hidden signature from the mint itself. Another captivating possibility is a repunched mint mark. The small letter D beneath the year indicates the Denver Mint, but sometimes during production the mint mark punch struck the die more than once. When that happens, you might notice a shadow or doubling effect around the letter. These subtle details can transform an ordinary penny into a highly desirable collectible, and let's pause for a quick moment of honesty here. Most people spend pennies without ever noticing the date, the mint mark, or the tiny design features that collectors examine carefully. It's a bit like throwing away a lottery ticket before checking the numbers. Funny thought, right? But also a little terrifying if you think about how many rare coins might have passed through everyday transactions. This brings us to a powerful moment of realization for many collectors. The treasure hunt does not require expensive equipment or secret knowledge. Sometimes it begins with curiosity. A closer look. A willingness to check that forgotten jar of coins or the old change hidden inside a dresser drawer. Now many viewers ask another important question. How can someone actually make money from coins? Is it realistic, or is it just another internet myth? The truth is simple and encouraging. The coin market is driven by collectors who are passionate about preserving pieces of American history. When a rare coin appears, especially one with a documented mint error and strong condition, demand can rise dramatically. Auction houses across the United States regularly host sales where rare pennies and other historic coins attract competitive bidding. Professional grading services evaluate coins for authenticity and condition, giving buyers confidence when they invest serious money. This system has allowed everyday individuals to discover valuable coins and successfully sell them to eager collectors. But let's ask another question that may be sitting quietly in your mind right now. How do you sell old and rare coins in the United States if you believe you have found something valuable? The process often begins with careful examination. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, and any unusual features on the coin. If something appears different or rare, many collectors choose to submit the coin to a professional grading company. Once authenticated and graded, the coin enters a completely different level of the market. Auction platforms, coin dealers, and collector communities suddenly become interested. A coin that once sat unnoticed in a jar can now become the centerpiece of a competitive auction. Picture that moment. The auctioneer calling bids. Collectors watching closely. Each new offer pushing the price higher. The excitement in the room building as history and rarity collide. For someone who discovered the coin in their own home, it can feel almost unbelievable. And here is where our story comes full circle. The 1960 Lincoln penny reminds us that value often hides in plain sight. The coins we ignore today may become the collectibles of tomorrow. The pennies rattling in a drawer may hold stories, history, and sometimes surprising financial opportunity. So let me ask you a question directly. Have you ever checked your pocket change with the curiosity of a treasure hunter? Have you wondered whether the coins you carry every day might contain a rare mint error waiting to be discovered? Because the journey from pocket change to possibility often begins with a simple decision. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Ask questions. Learn what collectors are searching for, and who knows. Somewhere in America right now, a forgotten 1960 Lincoln penny might be sitting quietly in a jar, waiting for someone curious enough to notice its hidden story. Imagine reaching into a jar of old pennies on your kitchen shelf and discovering that one tiny copper coin could quietly hold the power to change your financial future. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet stories like this happen more often than people realize. Somewhere in America, a simple penny from the early 1970s may still be hiding in a coin jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or the bottom of a dresser drawer. And today we are going to explore one of those intriguing possibilities, the mysterious and highly sought-after 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin that at first glance looks ordinary, yet under the right circumstances and with the right era, it can attract astonishing attention from collectors. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly examined the pennies in your pocket? Could one of them quietly be worth far more than a single cent? The early 1970s were a fascinating period in American coinage. The iconic Lincoln 1 cent, first introduced in 1909, had already become one of the most recognized coins in the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it carried the calm and dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of leadership and resilience. By 1973, billions of these pennies were being produced every year by the United States Mint. Most were ordinary circulation coins. But within those massive production runs, small minting mistakes sometimes slipped through unnoticed. And those mistakes are what transform an ordinary coin into a treasure hunter's dream. Now here is where the story becomes exciting. A 1973 penny without a mint mark means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark during that era. But the real intrigue begins when rare minting errors appear on these coins. Imagine spotting unusual doubling in the letters of the date, or a dramatic off-center strike where the design appears shifted. What if the copper surface reveals an unexpected die crack running through Lincoln's portrait? These unusual characteristics may seem small, but to collectors they are fascinating clues. They tell the hidden story of what happened inside the minting presses decades ago. Let me pause for a moment and ask you something important. Have you ever looked at a penny closely under bright light? Most people never do. Yet the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even far more can sometimes be discovered with nothing more than curiosity and patience. What if a simple magnifying glass could reveal a detail that others overlooked for 50 years? That possibility alone is what keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins every single day. Now imagine the emotional moment of discovery. Picture someone opening a dusty jar of pocket change that has been sitting in the garage for years. As they begin sorting through the coins, one penny looks slightly different. The letters appear doubled. The strike seems unusual. Suddenly curiosity turns into excitement. Could this be a rare error? Could this coin attract serious attention at auction? This is the exact moment where ordinary people step into the fascinating world of coin collecting and rare coin selling. But here is the question many viewers ask right away. How do you sell old rare coins? Where do you even begin? If you believe you may have discovered a valuable coin, the first step is authentication. Serious collectors and auction houses rely on professional grading services to verify a coin's condition and authenticity. Once graded and certified, a coin's credibility in the marketplace increases dramatically. And that credibility is what serious buyers look for when they are ready to compete for rare pieces. Another question I hear constantly is this: how do you make money from coins? The truth is surprisingly simple. Knowledge and timing. Many valuable coins are discovered in everyday circulation, inherited collections, or forgotten coin jars. Those who take the time to learn about mint marks, errors, and historical variations gain a powerful advantage. A coin that someone else ignores as pocket change could become a prized collectible in the right market environment. Let's add a little humor here for a moment. Imagine paying for your morning coffee with a penny that the barista later discovers is worth a small fortune. Suddenly that 1 cent tip becomes the most legendary tip in coffee shop history. Funny, right? But stories of rare coins accidentally spent in everyday transactions are surprisingly common. And that raises another intriguing question. Could valuable coins still be circulating right now? As the story unfolds, excitement builds because the demand for unusual coins continues to grow. Collectors across the United States constantly search for rare mint errors, historical varieties, and well-preserved pieces from past decades. Auction houses often showcase these discoveries, where competitive bidding can push prices higher than expected. The thrill of the hunt is part of what drives this entire market. Now think about this. Millions of Americans have jars of old coins sitting quietly in their homes. Some were saved by parents or grandparents. Some came from daily pocket change over the years. Most people never imagined that these ordinary containers might hold hidden treasures. Yet every year collectors uncover remarkable coins that have been sitting unnoticed for decades. So here is a powerful question for you. Have you ever searched your own coin jars? Have you checked your drawers, old piggy banks, or inherited collections? Because the journey from pocket change to valuable collectible often begins with a simple moment of curiosity, and when it comes to selling coins in the United States, there are several trusted pathways. Professional coin dealers, reputable auction houses, and certified coin marketplaces all connect sellers with serious collectors. These buyers are constantly looking for unique pieces that stand out from ordinary circulation coins. A certified error coin, especially from a well-known series like the Lincoln Cent, can attract remarkable attention when presented to the right audience. By now you might feel a mix of excitement and urgency. That feeling is exactly what motivates collectors and treasure hunters everywhere. Because the truth is simple. Rare coins do not announce themselves. They hide quietly among billions of ordinary coins until someone observant decides to look closely, and this brings our story full circle. A small copper coin from 1973 may appear completely ordinary. Yet under the right circumstances, with the right minting error and the right collector interest, it can transform into a highly desirable collectible. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary often comes down to knowledge and attention to detail. So the next time you hear coins clinking in your pocket, pause for a moment. Take a closer look. Ask yourself the questions that collectors ask every day. Could this coin be unusual? Could it have an error? Could it be something collectors are searching for right now? Imagine reaching into a jar of loose change on a quiet evening and pulling out a coin that could transform the way you look at money forever. A simple copper penny, small and almost forgotten, yet hiding a story of rarity, mystery, and extraordinary value. We are diving into the fascinating world of the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that millions of Americans have handled but very few have truly understood. And here is the exciting question that may change how you look at your pocket change tonight. What if one of those pennies sitting quietly in your drawer could be worth far more than $100, or even thousands? Many people believe rare coins only exist in museums or locked collections owned by wealthy collectors. But history has proven something very different. Rare coins have been discovered in kitchen drawers, in old piggy banks, inside forgotten coin jars, and even in the loose change people carry every day. That is why collectors across the United States constantly search through ordinary pennies hoping to discover a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. The 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny without a mint mark is one of those coins that continues to attract attention, curiosity, and excitement. Before we go deeper, let's pause for a moment and think about something surprising. When was the last time you really looked at a penny before spending it? Most people never do. They see it as the smallest unit of currency, almost meaningless in daily life. But here is the twist that keeps collectors awake at night. Some pennies that appear ordinary can actually carry rare minting errors, unusual characteristics, or extraordinary condition that makes them incredibly valuable. The Lincoln penny itself carries a proud history. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, it became one of the most recognized coins in American history. By 1978 the coin had already been circulating for decades, produced in enormous numbers to keep up with everyday commerce. Many of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place a mint mark on pennies at that time. That is why you may see a 1978 penny without any letter beneath the date, but here is where things begin to get interesting for collectors and treasure hunters. While millions of 1978 pennies were produced, only a small number carry the types of minting errors or exceptional conditions that make collectors pay serious money. And this is where excitement begins to build. Imagine examining a penny and noticing something unusual. Maybe the letters appear doubled. Maybe the strike looks stronger than normal. Maybe the coin has an off-center design or an unusual luster that has survived decades of circulation. Collectors call these special coins error coins, and the market for them is stronger than many people realize. In auctions across the United States, collectors compete aggressively for rare examples, sometimes paying prices that shock new collectors. The fascinating truth is that a tiny mistake made during the minting process can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Now let me ask you something that might change your perspective tonight. Do you have a jar filled with pennies somewhere in your home? Maybe an old coffee can, a coin jar on the kitchen counter, or a small box inherited from a relative. What if the answer to a surprising financial opportunity is sitting right there waiting to be discovered? Coin collectors often describe the search through old coins as a treasure hunt hidden in everyday life. One moment you are sorting ordinary pocket change, and the next moment you find something that stops you in your tracks. That sudden rush of excitement is what keeps millions of collectors searching year after year. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny becomes especially attractive when it appears in extremely high-grade condition or when it displays noticeable mint errors. Coins preserved in brilliant red condition with sharp details and strong strike can command impressive attention in the collector market. The fewer marks and scratches a coin has, the more collectors compete to own it. That competition is exactly what drives auction prices higher, and here is a quick question that many viewers often ask. How do people actually sell old rare coins in the United States? The answer may surprise you because the market for collectible coins is larger than ever. Auction houses, coin dealers, online marketplaces, and professional grading services all play an important role in connecting collectors with rare coins. Professional coin grading services authenticate and evaluate coins, assigning them a grade that tells buyers exactly how well the coin has been preserved. Once a coin receives certification, it can enter major auctions where collectors from across the country compete to acquire it. This competition can dramatically increase the final selling price. Imagine the moment when a coin you discovered in pocket change appears in a professional auction listing. Collectors begin placing bids, the excitement builds, and the price climbs higher and higher. That moment is exactly what many coin hunters dream about, but here is another thought that may make you smile. How many times have people ignored pennies on the ground because they seem too small to matter? Now imagine if one of those pennies had a rare error or exceptional condition that collectors desperately wanted. Suddenly that tiny coin becomes something completely different. The journey from pocket change to potential profit begins with knowledge and curiosity. Learning how to examine coins carefully, understanding mint marks, recognizing possible errors, and preserving coins properly are the skills that experienced collectors develop over time. And every new collector starts with the same simple step. Looking closely at the coins they already have. So ask yourself a few powerful questions tonight. Could a forgotten penny collection be hiding inside your home right now? Could an old coin jar contain something collectors would pay serious money to own? Could the simple habit of checking your change turn into an unexpected opportunity? For many collectors across America, the answer to those questions has already been yes. Rare coins have been discovered in the most ordinary places, and each discovery begins with curiosity and attention. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny reminds us of something important. Value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes the smallest objects carry the most fascinating stories and the greatest surprises. And in the world of coin collecting, every penny truly has the potential to become a discovery. So the next time you hear coins clinking in your pocket or see a handful of pennies sitting quietly on a table, pause for a moment before spending them. Take a closer look. Examine the date. Study the details. What if the small copper coin sitting in a dusty jar, hidden in a drawer, or mixed with everyday pocket change was actually worth a small fortune? Imagine discovering that a simple 1979 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny could transform from a forgotten coin into a collector's treasure. That possibility is exactly what keeps serious coin collectors, investors, and everyday Americans searching through jars of change every single day. And today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins that has sparked excitement in the numismatic world, the legendary 1979 D penny that may carry rare errors capable of turning an ordinary coin into something truly extraordinary. Picture this for a moment. You are cleaning out an old drawer or sorting through a jar of coins that has been sitting untouched for years. Suddenly you notice a penny dated 1979 with a small letter, D, beneath the date. That tiny mark means the coin was struck at the United States Mint facility in Denver Mint. Millions of these coins were produced, and most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But here is where the story takes an exciting turn. Some rare versions of the 1979 D penny were struck with unusual minting errors. And in the world of rare coins, errors can mean opportunity, sometimes even life-changing opportunity. Now think about this question for a moment. How many coins pass through your hands every year without a second glance? Hundreds. Maybe thousands. And how many people unknowingly spend coins that collectors would gladly pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for? It happens more often than you might think. The truth is that rare coin treasures are still circulating in everyday pocket change. That is why collectors and investors across the United States constantly search for hidden gems among ordinary coins. The Lincoln 1 cent, first introduced in 1909, has always been one of the most collected coins in American history. Featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, this humble penny has captured the imagination of generations. Over time, certain years, mint marks, and minting mistakes have transformed some of these pennies into highly valuable collectibles. The 1979 D penny sits quietly among them, waiting for sharp-eyed collectors to recognize something unusual. Now here is where excitement begins to build. Some 1979 D pennies have been discovered with striking mint errors that immediately catch the attention of collectors. Errors like double die strikes, off-center designs, or misaligned dies can dramatically increase a coin's value. These mistakes occurred during the manufacturing process when the coin dies struck the metal planchets imperfectly. What was once considered a flaw at the mint suddenly becomes a rare prize decades later. But let me ask you something important. When was the last time you really examined the coins in your pocket? Not just glanced at them, but truly inspected them under good lighting? Because collectors know something the average person often forgets. The smallest detail can change everything. A slight doubling in the lettering. An unusual strike pattern. A misalignment that most people overlook. These tiny details can transform an ordinary penny into a sought-after collectible. Now imagine the excitement of discovering that your 1979 D penny shows one of these rare characteristics. Suddenly, that 1 cent coin is no longer just pocket change. It becomes a conversation starter, a collector's target, and possibly an auction highlight. Across the country, auction houses and coin dealers regularly handle rare pennies that command astonishing prices because of their unique minting errors and pristine condition. But another important question begins to appear in the minds of many viewers. How do you actually sell a rare coin if you discover one? Where do you go? How do you make sure you receive the true value for your coin? These questions are incredibly common, especially among people who are new to coin collecting or rare coin investing. The journey often begins with authentication. Professional coin grading organizations examine coins carefully, verifying their authenticity and condition. Once a coin is certified and graded, its value becomes much clearer in the collector market. Coins that receive high grades often attract strong interest from buyers, investors, and collectors who are always searching for rare additions to their collections, and here is where opportunity meets preparation. Auction houses, coin dealers, and online collector platforms constantly seek rare and unusual coins. When a coin like the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent penny appears with a verified mint error in strong condition, the demand can be surprisingly strong. Collectors understand that rare coins represent history, scarcity, and potential long-term value, but let's pause for a moment and ask something that might sound a little humorous. What if the penny sitting in your car's cup holder right now is worth more than the car itself? It may sound unbelievable, yet stories like that have appeared in the coin collecting world many times before. That is why experienced collectors always repeat one important rule: never underestimate a penny. Now imagine the possibilities. What if your next coin discovery came from a simple handful of change? What if the penny sitting in your home right now could attract attention from collectors across the country? Could that small discovery become the beginning of a new financial opportunity? These questions continue to drive the excitement behind coin hunting and rare coin collecting. For many Americans, searching for rare coins becomes more than a hobby. It becomes a treasure hunt hidden in plain sight. Every jar of coins, every old piggy bank, every forgotten drawer becomes a potential source of discovery. And sometimes, those discoveries lead to coins that collectors are willing to pay remarkable prices to own. The story of the 1979 penny reminds us of something powerful. Value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes the greatest opportunities hide in the smallest places. A coin that looks ordinary may hold a rare feature that only a careful observer will notice. And the moment that feature is discovered, everything changes. So the next time you receive change at a store, pause for a moment before dropping those coins into a jar. Take a closer look. Examine the dates, the mint marks, and the details. Ask yourself a simple but exciting question. Could one of these coins be different? Could one of them be rare?